and for my first year playing out there, they actually called me Butterfingers because I couldn't catch the ball.
Yo, Vanessa got the sauce.
How you doing, bro? Appreciate you coming out here.
No, I apologize, man. I don't like messing with people's time. So I mean, I got on a call. They had to call me today, and I didn't even realize the time once I got off the phone.
Nah, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it.
Don't sweat it. Trust me. Hey, that's your job, right? Don't not worry about that. But how things been going with you?
Yeah, man. How's everything going on?
Yeah, everything is good, man. Everything is good. We had a little COVID outbreak, so everybody's kind of in the process of like returning back to playing, and so they're kind of in the process of that, making sure everybody's good. And then I was one of the guys that ended up testing positive, so I'm over here just waiting to get back to play. Really.
I hear you. That's tough. You feeling healthy now though, or was it?
I mean, it was good. It was just close contact.
Okay.
Got you. Just had to make sure that I was good, but that's just the league rule. Everybody has to sit out, and then you have to transition into coming back. So it's all good.
Okay.
How's everything with you guys? Everything's good?
Yeah, we good on our ends.
Bro, doing pretty well, in this COVID world that we're living in. But
yeah, exactly. It sucks.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You gotta try to make do. We can't control everything, right? So
do what
we gotta do.
Exactly.
But yeah. So I guess we'll start it up. So
yeah,
Ante, over to you.
Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna just tell you guys. I'm gonna just tell you quickly like who we are, what we do. We're actually basically started this whole thing because we wanted to kind of spotlight Canadian athletes. We're both from Canada ourselves. He's from Toronto, I'm from Montreal. And just kind of basically I'll get into more detail later because how you played one of the biggest roles that you don't even know, so it's crazy. But basically, so we both went to St. Francis, we both went to the States in high school. So I left when I was 15, he left when he was 14 to go out there living on our own, etc. And it was just kind of like our experience and our journey and basically what we were taught throughout the whole process of leaving home and just like the football and family and all that stuff. And we just basically built this whole like company just to spotlight, like I said, Canadians and give them basically a platform so they can kind of express themselves, tell their stories, and just let other guys coming up look at someone who took this route and became something. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. Dope.
And the reason why I said like you played the biggest role without even knowing is because when we both went down to St. Francis that year, I believe you either just went to Iowa or was it that year, Jay?
Yeah, 2012, I believe.
Yeah, 2012. So So and like for you, like for us, you and Akil Lynch were like the two biggest like role models and decision factors for why we actually even left home ourselves.
Right.
Like that's why it was crazy because it's like I remember me and like so we actually roomed together and like we were basically following you and Akil like we knew you guys personally because it's like
yeah.
It was just kind of like that, like yo, look what Tevaun's doing, look what Tevaun, yo, you see what you just put up, etc. Yeah. And it was just kind of like so. Honestly, it's an honor for us to even just be able to speak to you because you played a huge,
man. I appreciate
huge role in our journey.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man, for sure.
Yep. So I mean, just first question, I guess, just more of an icebreaker. Just tell us about yourself, who you are, where you're from, like some of your personal life, anything like that.
Yeah. No, so I from Toronto, grew up in North York area, Weston Road, Black Creek area. I mean, I went to Chaminade High School, transferred over to Kent School in Connecticut, and that's how I ended up at Iowa. Family, I left at a young age, just like you guys. Got a Jamaican background, so like football is not really the number one sport
Yeah.
for Jamaicans or whatever. So went off and did that. Mom ended up falling in love with it. Dad, just as much. Mom wasn't too interested at first, obviously, because it was different. But now look, now she's obviously still learning the game or whatever, and I still have my grandparents like, I don't know how you play football and all these and you make all these guys tackle you and do all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, so I ended up going to Iowa, had a good little college experience over there, and then got a chance to I was undrafted, but I was signed by the Colts, and then was there for a little bit, and then was had a little stint in with the Raiders, and then ended up staying in Jacksonville for a little while as well. And then when I came out, I was drafted to Edmonton in 2016. So in 2019 was my first year after I had my 3 years in NFL. Obviously, injuries played a factor in me coming back, and yeah, that's kind of pretty much my story, and that's where I'm at now. I'm in Edmonton playing for now the Elks, used to be the Eskimos, and just enjoying the experience, man.
That's dope. That's dope.
I actually completely forgot like that you mentioned Chaminade. That's kind of another reason how I heard of you before, because I actually went to Richview 2011 2011 or 2010 you were at Chaminade. I can't remember. It was like a year or two before I got there, and you guys beat Richview in the cities, I believe. And because I always tried to follow that stuff. I remember you went crazy that game, and I was like, "Man, this dude really like he duffed us."
Yeah, I remember I was playing Richview too, man. And Chaminade was a good experience over there too. We had a lot of good guys, a lot of good athletes that went there. And before that, I actually transferred from Central Tech, so I was at Central Tech, played there. And then I didn't, it wasn't the best situation for me. And I needed somewhere where I can focus and take football more serious and school more serious. So that's when I ended up transferring to Chaminade.
Okay, I actually didn't even know that. That's from where you're at to Tech. That must have been a little trek. Like, that's probably maybe an hour on the TTC. Maybe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you have to train, bus, all of that.
Yeah. I hear you.
But I mean, I went there just for the history. I know Central Tech back in the day used to be a really good football school, but it also wasn't the best school in general in that area, and there's trouble over there.
No, I hear you for sure. I hear you. I know some people went there. My brother actually went there for a bit too. So yeah, I hear you.
So yeah, man. So yeah, that's why I ended up leaving, and I had a couple people, mentors, tell me to get out of there, and probably the best decision I ever made, to be honest.
Yeah, well, kind of speaking directly off of that, next thing, like, who would you say some of your role models or mentors were, and how would you say that they helped you like develop along the journey? So if you don't mind, I guess just starting with the people who helped you getting out of Tech.
Yeah. I mean, I got a good friend that I played, Little League with, Marcus Granderson. He was a big impact. He had went to Chaminade first and was kind of telling me to go. And we were on the same Wildcats team while we were playing football in the other league. And yeah, I mean, I was coming to practice with a bunch of the Tech guys, and then the Chaminade guys would come to practice, and they were like recruiting me to come to Chaminade and saying like, hey, you gotta come. But on the side, it was just more so like, this is probably gonna be the best thing for you. These guys are this is a friend that cares about me. And he kind of broke it down to me like, this is gonna be a good opportunity, and that's when I met Coach Diodati, is Patrick Diodati, which is a big mentor for me as well. And he, I mean, we still talk to this day. And he helped me along the way through high school, getting tapes out to schools and whatnot. And, just the support system was good for me. Another person that was a good impact, other than, of course, my family and my parents and whatnot, was, a couple other best friends, but it would be Godfrey Lewis. He was he was a guy that ran camps back in the day, and he was also from Toronto, played in the U.S. And he was definitely a guy that I kept in contact with. I mean, still do keep in contact with. So that's another guy that I kind of looked up to, and still ask questions and reach out to those guys and whatnot. So yeah, I would say those are the two guys, other than like close friends and family that helped me along the way.
That's real. And because when I was at U of T my first year, Marcus was there for either a year or two. So like I know Marcus a bit. He's a real dude. So it's definitely like
real
I
dude.
can definitely see that. I think
sure.
Where's he at? SFU now, I believe, coaching
there.
there.
Yeah, he's a coach at Simon Fraser now. Yeah. So it was good to have a guy like him. And obviously there's other teammates like Jamal Hyman. He also went there. One of my best friends, Trey, he also ended up transferring because we went to Central Tech together. He transferred first. And it kind of led me to going there too. So yeah, I mean, it was a long road, but I had a lot of good people supporting me and guiding me in the right direction, So
for sure, yeah, definitely sounds like it, and that's one of the key things. Once you get that good support system, you have that close circle where they're all you guys are all looking out for each other. That's really what it is right there. That's good to hear, bro.
Yeah, especially like once you have that circle, like I feel like you can almost do whatever because you have you can always have people you can fall back on, And always like, yo, don't do this, don't do that. And like they're not like they actually have your best interest.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I feel that. That's dope.
Another thing, so I kind of understand it with the Jamaican household. So
Trust
growing
me.
up, was football? I guess what got you into football, and was football always like your number one thing that you were pushing for growing up?
Football was not my number one thing, but like I told you, I have a best friend. His name is Trey. He first started playing football, and and this is when we were like 10 years old, maybe 11, and he started first, and he tried to get me to play, and I'm like, I don't know, like he's like, just come and try it out, and for my first year playing out there, they actually called me Butterfingers because I couldn't catch the ball. Like, that was my very first year. I couldn't catch. And the coach used to call me Butterfingers, and the same coach that used to call me Butterfingers not now, but he ended up being my Chaminade, or his son ended up being my Chaminade quarterback.
Oh shoot.
So, and obviously, like what I did at Chaminade speaks for itself, but I mean, I was, I obviously was no longer called Butterfingers.
Yeah, I hear that.
But it's crazy. Yeah, exactly. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Looking back at it now, it comes to full circle. And now, I mean, he kind of laugh about it. But his dad will come to games, and every now and then he'll be like, "Oh, remember you couldn't even catch the football, and look at you now," So it came a long way for sure. But yeah, that's what made me start playing football, and then I fell in love with it ever since. I know I kind of that first year I knew I just wanted to get better. I wanted to prove. I mean, it's crazy at a young age when if you like just thinking like that. You try something and it doesn't work out, or you're not good at it, and you just keep trying, and you end up just falling in love with it, and fall in love with the process, and you fall in love with the game. So
yep.
Yeah, that's
definitely
crazy.
That's why I try to tell people, because when I was younger, there weren't a lot of people like in my circle at least that played football. So I always try to tell them join the sport. Like once you get the itch, because even for me, I grew up a basketball player. My dad played basketball his whole life, and he was always pushing me to play basketball.
Right.
But then it's like I tried football one day. I got the itch and was like, nah, forget basketball. Like I'm gonna put that completely to the side. Like I'm going all in on this.
Crazy,
though.
Me, I feel like I actually grew up in football since the age of 5 and whatnot. So like I was like the other kids who you guys are like, oh, I don't want to play with, whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I felt like the hardest for me growing up was trying to kind of find that group who took it serious as well. You know what I mean? 'Cause I didn't really take it serious until I was probably like 13. Where it's kind of like, oh, okay, I might be able to do something with this. And then after that, got the circle of basically all football heads, and it wasn't even just have to be football heads, like all like athletic minds, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
And like everyone kind of just fed off each other and just like pushed each other, and that's when like things just started rolling.
Yeah, it's crazy how things work out, man, and you know how the process ends up turning out when you look back at it.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean, so I guess moving on with the high school journey there. So we got a little bit of tech, which like I said, I had no idea. So tech to Chaminade. Would you mind speaking on Chaminade to Kent? So like we said before, you, at least for me growing up, like you and Akil were really the first people that we saw leaving, especially the GTA, but Canada in general, to go down south. Even though we both know Connecticut isn't really south, but yeah, to go down south to play ball. So would you mind speaking to that a bit?
Yeah, so at Chaminade, obviously, you know, I had a good high school career there, but you know, as we were, you know, sending out like film to schools and going to camps, the one thing that stuck out was the competition. So you know, leading up to like my senior year, I was, you know, kind of struggling getting that offer. So you know, I mean, we got in contact. I had a coach actually that I played with. He was actually my Pee Wee coach my very first year as well, and you know, he had was also helping me as well to reach out to schools. And his name is Justin Dillon. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that name, but
that's crazy.
He was my little league coach my first year. I played with his son. And yeah, he had reached out to a couple schools as well, and then we got in contact with Kent, and that's kind of how I ended up there. So that was kind of like my prove it year. You know, I wanted to go to school, prove myself that, you know, it's not just a competition. And I mean, I pretty much did the same thing at Kent. I had a good little year there. Was one of the notable players in the New England area, and yeah, it kind of worked out, and that's how I ended up having 4 offers. Coming out of Kent, which was like, one was Iowa, UConn, University of Miami, and Temple. Those were my 4 offers, and I obviously chose Iowa. And you know, looking back at it, I feel like it's probably one of the best decisions I've made as well.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. That's dope. But yeah, the reason we laughed is we actually spoke to someone not too long ago. His name was Alec, and he brought up Justin Dillon too.
Justin Dillon, and how Justin Dillon played a huge role with him now. He's actually a senior at
Deerfield. Yeah.
I spoke with Alec as well.
Stanford.
Okay.
Yeah, so Justin had reached out to me and told me to give him a little talk, and you know, he was picking schools and whatnot. And it's another crazy story. I had my receivers coach at Iowa called me about Alec because he's the receivers coach at Stanford. And that's how that connection kind of happened. So, you know, me and my receivers coach was at Iowa. You know, we had a good conversation about him, talked about him, and I know they offered him. He really liked them. I got a chance to talk to Alec about, you know, his future receivers coach. And I mean, I from what I understand, Stanford was one of his top choices from the beginning. He always wanted to go there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, I actually, you know, recently met Alec like months ago through Justin. And yeah, it's funny how his receivers coach is now is my old receivers coach. So
that's crazy how like it's really such a small world. That is insane.
Yeah,
it's crazy though, because he mentioned the receivers coach to us when we were talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the odds? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you mentioned a couple of the offers that you had, and you of course, from the way you spoke about it, sounds like you loved Iowa. So of course, you obviously made the right choice. But what, like, the recruiting process? Yeah, what got you to make the commitment to Iowa?
It was really one thing that stuck out going there, other than like all the other visits and coaches that I met at those other schools. They had a paper, and it was Iowa, against all the schools that offered me. And it was just going head to head with each school. How many bowl games did they go to? How many people graduated from that school? How long the coach has been there, like coaching longevity. So all those, Iowa checked all the boxes. And now looking back at it, every single school that offered me, all those coaches got fired. And my coach is still there to this day. So, I mean, to be honest, I think that's the best recruiting tactic of all time. If I'm ever a coach, that's exactly what I'm doing, because I mean, like the proof is right there. It's on paper. The stats don't lie. So that's kind of that was kind of a cool process. And of course, going to the school, seeing the campus, seeing the facilities, and they got beautiful facilities at the time. They were building it, and now they have one of the best facilities in the country. So, I mean, that was obviously one of the big reasons too. And obviously, my experience there was fun too. And I mean, and they say Iowa produces like the most NFL guys, and that was one of the stuff too. And and it kind of, you can see the respect that you get even after leaving Iowa. I go to all these, I've been on a couple NFL teams, and even CFL teams, or this CFL team, and they all know who our coaches are, like our head coach and our strength and conditioning coach, and they know what type of program, like that, their reputation, right? So I mean, now looking back at it, I mean, like I said, it's one of the best decisions, and at all the other schools that I had a option to go to. So
that's crazy, and that's you actually brought up a big thing that a lot, at least when I was going through the recruiting process, I didn't really take it into consideration, like the idea of longevity. Because when I was in university, and like no disrespect to U of T, I love them, like I enjoyed my time there, but I went through 3 different defensive systems while I was there during my time there. So like and having to learn
a new defense, learning a new, now you're basically on a new team, because now you gotta earn that coach's trust. And it's just, and it sucks for a lot of guys. I've known guys that they've been on a team with like 2 or 3 different coaches, and they ended up having a transfer because this coach just brings in his own people, like that. You're not one of the guys that he recruited. So and it's like that in professional too. You play for a team, there's a new coach, they bring in their coaching staff, they're the guys that they recruit, and I have a new coach now, and that's another process in itself. You gotta show that you're a leader. You gotta show that that you can make plays. They obviously watch film and they like you, but you just never know when you're on a new team, right? So
exactly.
that process is definitely crazy.
And then you mind just bringing it back a little bit to high school again. So that first year, you left when you were like a older age than both me and Devontae, but still that first year being away from home, how were you able to handle that? And did you find like you were able to struggle with that or anything?
To be honest, no, it wasn't much of a struggle. I didn't really think of it as me like leaving home. It was just, I thought of it as just me, trying to fulfill a dream. Right. So I didn't even think about, I didn't really think about, oh, I'm leaving home, I miss my family. I was just thinking like, I'm on a mission. I'm trying to get to where I want to be. And this is where I'm at, and this is what I have to do. I'm going to do it. And I honestly, obviously talking back with like friends and, family as I'm gone, it's just, I mean, even now, I mean, I'm so used to being away from home that like I come home for like a couple months and I leave, because like I mean, I have a job. I got serious things to take care of. Other I gotta worry about my body. I gotta train. I gotta whatever, and that's my goal, right? So I mean, it sucks going away, but I don't think of it like that. I think of it as another opportunity.
I hear that for sure. Definitely, like flip the switch on it instead of thinking of it in a negative way to it's a positive thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the thing. If it seemed like you already had like that, and obviously you went Division 1 and et cetera. But Jamal and I was talking about it when you be kind of talking to a lot of guys who went D1, it's kind of seemed like it all starts from the mindset, right? It's kind of like you could dwell on not being like with your family and all that, but if you truly break it down, it's like most times if you get an offer out of state, out of country, in your case, it's like you're gonna be away from your family either way, you know.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like it's all in mind.
Yeah, exactly. And your family is gonna be there. Your family's always gonna be there, but this opportunity may not.
Exactly.
So that's kind of how I kind of thought about it. It's just, well, shoot. I mean, I can go back home, but they're just gonna be there. Or I can just focus on what I need to do, and they can be at home still and watch my dream come true on TV, right? So,
Yep. That's a real way to put it, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then another thing, so high school in Ontario, at least, is 3-down football. For OVFL, it's 4-down. So I guess we were exposed to the 4-down a little bit, but that initial transition to the full, I guess, NFL rule when you went, no motion. That's a big one, for sure. So how was that transition?
To be honest, it wasn't that big of an issue for me. It was a smooth transition. Because I remember when I first went to Chaminade, I had told my coach, it's crazy that he even listened, but I told him that I don't want to run off the ball. I want to be on the line on the outside, and I want to stay on the line. I don't want to do that because I don't want to play Canadian football. So I never had to do that. So going back with the motion wasn't really a big deal for me because I never did it anyway. So yeah, the transition was pretty smooth, and I mean there was bigger, stronger guys, but I kind of took pride in obviously proving myself, and I was at the time I was trying to get bigger, stronger, and faster. So the size wasn't really a big deal for me either. I mean, we had a bunch of big guys on our team, so there was nothing really to be intimidated about either. So I mean, yeah, I would say that the transition was pretty smooth for the most part.
Yeah, that's dope because like Devontae said earlier, it really is the way you're making it sound. It really sounds like it was all in the mindset for you, because a lot of Canadian guys, like, they don't even think about or at the time, like, going to prep school. It's like, okay, they'll go to a CIS, well, U Sports now, but at the time CIS school, they'll get a chance to play in the CFL. But it's like, for you, your goal, your vision was always go to the States, stay in the States, play in the States, type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was always, I wanted to play professional football. I knew that it could have been, whether it was the NFL or the CFL, I wasn't against that. I just knew I wanted to play D1 football. I knew I wanted to go to a Division I school, and I didn't. Yeah, that's why I just didn't want to do the motions and all the other stuff. I wanted to be on the line and prepare myself to go there. And like I said, at a young age, it's crazy thinking about it, where you're just thinking like, well, I'm going to stay here and I'm not going to motion because I want to do this over there. And it ended up working out, but even now, just thinking about it, I'm like, it's crazy that he even listened to me.
No, for real though.
That's crazy though. That's crazy.
Like, I mean, you're 16, 17 years old or whatever, and you tell your coach like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that because this is what I want to do. And he's like, all right, well, all right, cool. And it just worked out,
Honestly, shout out to your coach, because I can even think of it, like, even now with some of these kids, some coaches might take that the wrong ways. Like, now you gotta play my system.
But I didn't say it in like a disrespectful way. I'm like, hey, I'm better on the outside, and and I mean, most of the time your top two receivers are usually on the line anyway. But as we progressed, I mean, I was just like, well, shoot, I want to stay here. I don't want to do that. And we were on the same page. I mean, he felt like, with my talent in high school, that I could be somewhere else. So we were kind of on the same page with that. So he was like, all right, yeah. I mean, I agree. It makes sense. I mean, after here, you want to go to prep school and play. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we kind of stuck with it, and it worked out.
No, that's dope for real. Sounds like you definitely had a good coach. And you said that was Coach Diodati?
Yeah.
At that time? Yeah, so you definitely had a good coach with him.
Yeah. But touching up on your like you're talking about, like your goal is to get to that visual, like that D1 and get that D1 offer. So can you touch on that feeling you had when you got your first D1 offer?
Yeah. My first one was I believe it was UConn. Yeah, UConn was my first one. Um, they came to practice. I went on a visit. I actually thought I was gonna go there, like, because my first one, I was hyped to walk in there, and I was like, and and they offered me, and I was gonna commit. And my coach was like, "Yeah, don't commit yet. Like, you got so much more opportunity to like visit other schools and do whatever." And yeah, for me, it was just a bunch of excitement, and obviously the letters come in too, day by day from a bunch of different schools all over the country. But once you get that official offer, like it was definitely a good feeling. Family was happy, friends were happy, and it was just, obviously I knew that this is just step number one, right? And then I tell a lot of younger guys now, like, once you get that first offer, other ones start coming. And that's exactly what happened. It was UConn, then it was Temple, then Miami came, then Iowa, then other ones started trickling in. But at that point, I made a decision.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's like, little do you know, because I could definitely understand that feeling. Like you said, you get that first one, you're ready to commit on spot.
Yeah,
And it's dope that you're coach there, because little do you know you would be getting these other big ones. And then, like you
yeah,
said, you're
exactly.
extremely grateful you're able to go to Iowa. And like
Right.
saying that, of course, nothing against UConn, nothing on them, but it's just
Yeah,
crazy
exactly.
how something like that could
Yeah, for
really
sure.
be the deciding factor.
Hmm.
And then, so kind of also with your recruitment, obviously, like, they weren't able to say, oh, you're going against Canadian competition once you were at Kent. But did you feel there was like a stigmatization of being Canadian while you were being recruited?
No, I wouldn't really say that. I'd say that, they obviously saw the talent, but then when they found out that I was from Canada, it was kind of like, oh, really? Like
Okay.
they had no idea. Which, to me is good, because they don't look at me as that. They're just like, well, he's a good athlete, he can run, he can catch, and he's from Canada. That's super random,
Yeah.
Now it's normal.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guys getting drafted now in the NFL that are Canadian, and they're all over the country. But back when I was in high school, it was just like, oh, from Canada, like, like, wow.
No, that's
Yeah,
true.
kind of
That's true.
like, that's what we say. Like, really and truthfully, your wave was what really opened their eyes to the
Hmm.
talent we had here. So hey, for
Yeah, for
that, I
sure.
thank you.
Yeah, like thank you for that. Honestly, like little do
Yeah,
you
no,
even
but
know how
man.
much opportunity you just gave so many people after you guys. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that crosses my mind from time to time. So I appreciate that for you, like actually recognizing that. It means a lot. It does.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
man.
we
Well,
gotta
it's
get flowers
real,
when
because yeah, exactly. Got to give you your flowers for that.
Yeah.
Um, and then another thing, because this one for you is pretty unique. I guess getting. I know you didn't get the invite to the NFL Combine, but getting ready,
Mhm.
preparing for the pro day, because I saw your numbers from the pro day, and you
Mhm.
killed the pro day. So just talk to us a bit about what went into the preparation and the mindset to actually get ready for that pro day.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, again, just, I was on a mission. I had to prove myself. I just know around that time, I think it was our pro day, and then 2 weeks after was a CFL Combine. And obviously, I turned down the invite for the CFL Combine because of my pro day. But yeah, for me, the preparation, I remember just, I trained at two places. I trained at Iowa, but I also had a speed coach and receivers coach in Indiana. So I was taking trips back and forth because I was still in school. So I would drive, go to class, and my class was like once every other week. So I would just leave for 2 weeks, come back. So every other week I was just training back and forth. And like I said, great experience. I was able to meet a lot of people, and it was it was just me, like I said from before, just proving myself, making sure I was ready to run fast and make some good catches and look good on pro day, and that was a big thing for me. And see if I can put up numbers against, I mean, going against those other guys at the combine. So I mean, and I know there's a bunch of receivers coming out. There was a pretty deep receiving class in my year too. So I just wanted to make sure that my numbers were, up to par with theirs. And, I mean, I think if you did match my numbers up at the time, they were similar to, the top fastest guys
top three.
in the in the combine. So that was good for me. And then just getting the process was cool. I had at the time I had a good support system, solid agency to get me in the building.
That's
crazy, man. Yeah. And going forward, just curious, did you feel like not getting that combine invite, did you feel like you had even more to prove at your pro day?
I wouldn't say not. I mean, I wasn't, to be honest, I didn't know if I was gonna get it or not, obviously, but I honestly was more leaning towards like, I probably won't get it because we like with our offense, we don't really run the ball too much. We don't really pass the ball too much. So for me, I was just like, they probably won't, compare, like with my stats, I might get a shot. I mean, but I kind of already had an idea that like I probably wasn't going to get the invite, but there was still a chance. But I mean, for me, it was just, I mean, at least I got a pro day to prove myself. And we got, I'm at a good school where all 32 teams show up at pro day every year.
Exactly.
So it was pretty much the same thing. And I'm in my home turf. I'm comfortable. I don't have to fly anywhere and do all other stuff, even though I was traveling back and forth to Indiana anyway. But but yeah, I mean, it was definitely a great experience, like, leading up to it. And I mean, a lot of people go to the combine and still do a pro day anyway. So for me, it was just like, well, I mean, I've heard good and bad things about the combine. So I mean, if I don't go, that's fine. I can just, at least I have my pro day. I can worry about one thing and keep it pushing. So
I feel that.
I hear that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's dope though, because like I feel like that's dope that you like even had that mindset. Like I said, like it just seemed like for you everything was always like a mindset thing, because like there's definitely guys who was in that same position who was just probably down. So then after when the pro day came along, some could use that as motivation, some could still be annoyed about not getting the invite to the combine and kind of have a bad pro day because of the mind's too focused on not getting the invite, That's dope.
Yeah, man.
And then, so we have here now, getting drafted by Edmonton. I think that would have been maybe a month or a couple months after the pro day. But I guess you went 8th, but you fell a bit in the draft just because a bunch of teams weren't sure whether or not you were gonna come back to the CFL. So how was that whole I guess the draft process both on both sides of the border too, because I'm sure you still had your own draft process for the NFL as well.
Yeah. Going into like leading up to the NFL draft, I had a couple teams like, contact me and say, hey, you're on that draft board. We might draft you late round, in the late rounds. And just depending on how, how things go. So that morning I was like, shoot, I guess I might be getting drafted. Like there's a chance. But if a couple teams are calling me and telling me that I have a chance to get drafted, like that's dope in itself, right? So, but I ended up not working out. So I ended up, I actually watched the draft alone. I was just at the house, just chilling, watched like I watch the draft every year, even now. Now I only watch the first 2 rounds or whatever, try to see who from Iowa gets drafted. But, that day I kind of just watched like the late rounds. I'm like, I might get a call, like whatever. But by the time, crazy thing is, I mean, we were like maybe 3rd or 4th round, and Indianapolis called me and they said, hey, we're not drafting a receiver, but and I knew that Indiana wanted to sign me, because before the draft, this was like a month before the draft, they said, we're not looking to draft a receiver, but we want to sign you. So, if you don't get drafted, we're going to take you. So for me, I knew I was going to a team. I knew I was going, if I wasn't getting drafted, I was going to the Colts, depending on, the offer or whatever it was. Obviously the best offer was obviously going to be a factor, but they were my best offer, to get, like, obviously to sign. So, that process, I guess, like I said, I knew I was going to get a chance to get drafted, but I also knew that, at once the 6th, 7th round went by, I was like, and they kept calling like, hey, you're not drafted yet, we still want to sign you. So I ended up, that's how that ended up. But leading up, going into the CFL draft, I was actually studying in my hotel room. I was keeping up with it, but not really. I knew that there was a draft that night. And then Edmonton, I got a call from Edmonton, and that's when they told me I was drafted. I had no idea. I had people texting me, whatever. I literally didn't even know.
A whole bunch of congrats.
And yeah, like, oh, congrats. I'm like, damn, what happened? So I'm now looking at my phone, and I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't. Yeah, okay, Edmonton, whatever. So that was kind of a dope experience too in itself. And I knew that, they obviously told me, like, if things don't work out here, we'll, feel free, like, to give us a call if you wanted to come back and play for us or whatnot. And I mean, obviously I'm here now, and I'm happy that I'm here. Good organization, great city. But yeah, those two processes was definitely a good experience. A little bit of a surprise because obviously I had no idea, but yeah, it was cool, man.
That's dope. That's actually hella dope. And it's dope because, like, obviously, like, these are stories that, like, you don't hear of. That's crazy that the Colts basically called and said, we got, like basically the draft wasn't even over and you knew you were, like, still going to go to a team. So that kind of, regardless of where you get drafted,
right,
like, the nerves calms down regardless.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that definitely was, it definitely helped throughout the process. Like, at least I know that they want me,
Exactly.
So I know that there's a chance. And then obviously other teams are calling as well. Hey, if you don't get drafted, whatever. But I knew that the Colts weren't drafting a receiver, which they didn't. So they weren't lying about that. And then leading up to the end of the draft, they called, and I pretty much, by the time the 7th round, I pretty much knew I damn near signed my contract already. So.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. Ooh, sorry about that. But no, that's crazy for real. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And then, so take us through, I guess, a couple of years you did in the NFL. So with the Colts, the Jaguars, and
the Raiders.
There we go, the Raiders. So take us through how that went and how you feel about your time there.
I had a good experience with the Colts for sure. Unfortunately, that's going in my second year, I had tweaked my groin and had to sit out, obviously, and leading up to, like, getting healthy, timing just wasn't right with them. So during that time, I was Crabtree and Richard Sherman got into that fight, and Crabtree got suspended. So that's when I ended up signing with them until Crabtree came back.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
So with that situation, like, I knew I was only going to be there for about a week or two. Once Crabtree's back, I was going to be out of there. So it was pretty much a little, when guys say, I had a cup of tea in the NFL, like, that was my cup of tea. Like, I literally was there for about a week and a half, and I was out. It was pretty much a nice little week and a half vacation for me, to be honest.
I was that notification.
Yeah, I visited some teammates because Oakland is across the bridge from San Francisco. So I had a few friends at the time. They still play, obviously. CJ Beathard and George Kittle and another friend of mine, Greg Maven.
I forgot that all Iowa man.
Yeah, so they were out to eat, and we met to go eat, and I was just hanging out with them, and I just went back across the bridge, and just had practice, whatever. But yeah, I mean, that was a decent experience. And then in Jacksonville, I got signed there on Christmas Day, so family was starting to come over, and then I got a call like Christmas Eve, actually, that I had, and, like, I was watching the game. I had no idea that I was going to end up there, but I was watching the game. Receiver tore his ACL, and literally like an hour after the game, I get a call saying that like, "Yo, Jacksonville like wants you, and we're gonna fly you out tomorrow morning." Christmas Day, I had to fly out to Jacksonville.
That's
Crazy.
wild. That's
Crazy.
wild.
Yeah, and that was the year that they ended up
They went deep, right?
yeah, they lost their one game away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so yeah, that was a great experience out there. It was crazy. Jacksonville fans are wild, and going into my second year, that's when I tore my meniscus. And yeah, so then I ended up sitting out a year in 2018, and then that's when I made the decision to come to the CFL. I didn't want to wait another year and not have a chance to even play for 2 years. So I kind of made the decision fast. I sat out. I knew I wasn't getting money calls. As from the first time, like compared to the second time, I mean, I was when I first got my injury, I was trying out for almost every. I had a bunch of workouts. I was meeting with a bunch of teams, had a lot of interest, but the second time I wasn't getting many. I might have got one. So at that point, I was like, well, I need to make a decision now before it's too late, and that's when I ended up making the decision to come to the CFL.
That's dope.
Yeah,
for real.
so that's dope.
And that's crazy how you say it, because like from the outside looking in, at least, like of course we playing football, there's always a next man up mentality, but you don't really understand how much it really is next man up until you hit you're in that situation. It's like it's one injury, and then the next day it's like, okay, yeah, we're flying you out, like be here type of thing.
It's crazy. Yeah, literally. I had no idea. Like I was just watching the game just like a normal fan, and boom, Jacksonville calls like, "Hey, we need you to come out here tomorrow." I was like, "Shit, all right." Started packed my stuff, and I was out.
Saying Christmas Day, everybody's at the crib, the famine on, and you're like, "Yeah, I gotta go, yeah."
Yeah, like they're like, "Oh, where you going?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I got a call last night. I gotta go." Like. It's crazy.
As long as you don't have that one relative trying to cuss you about where y'all go. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I got a new. Oh man, that's
Christmas too,
right?
Yeah, exactly. On Christmas Day, like I'm like, yeah.
Right, especially from a Jamaican household who already doesn't understand the sport.
Yeah, they're like, yo, where?
Right?
What? When?
Today?
So yeah, exactly. A Christmas?
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that for real.
Yeah, man.
And then, no, that's crazy though, for real. That's funny. So coming back to the CFL now, how have you enjoyed your time here? And then what are some things that you picked up along your journey that you would say that you've used today, even like during your playing career still?
Well, first off, the experience in the CFL is fun. I mean, it's just like we said earlier, it's a small world. So, there's guys that I've played with in high school, played against in high school, played against when I was in the NFL. So there was a bunch of like familiar names and faces. So that was cool. And then of course just learning, like I said earlier, when I was in high school, I wasn't doing the motions, but now I'm learning them. So now looking back at it, it's like, damn, maybe I should have done a few motions from time to time. But yeah, I mean, right now, like I said, it's a good experience. I'm learning. This should have been my third year, but now my second. Yeah. And just enjoying the experience with the guys and just being able to, learn from guys that I, knew from high school or had been playing in the CFL. Or guys that that I was a fan of when I was a kid watching Argos games. I never had a chance to meet like Chad Owens and all those guys, but now coming back in training, I got to meet those guys, learn from those guys in the off season while I'm in town, training, and other guys like Jawan Breskis, what I mean, like Shamad Chambers, a bunch of different names, Courtney Stevens, like all these guys, just talking to them, learning that process. And then again, just enjoying that process with other new guys that I've played with as well. So that's cool. And your second question, what was that again?
Yeah, so just a few things that I guess you picked up along the way. You answered, you touched on it a bit that you even use in your career right now.
Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty much it, man. It's just enjoying it. I mean, it's a great experience. It's, especially out west, they love football. They love CFL football. So my goal is to continue to open more doors and continue to like inspire kids to keep playing football. I mean, and just grow. I mean, it's okay. I know a lot of people, they some guys don't really like the CFL or wanted to play in the CFL, but shoot, it's fun. Definitely fun. So.
Yeah, no, for real. Hey, you get a chance to keep playing ball. You're getting paid.
Yeah,
going against people you grew up going against. So
yeah,
I hear
exactly.
that for sure. That's dope. That's dope. And I guess now just wrap it up a little bit. What would you say? Obviously, like your career is far from over, but looking back on your career so far, what would you say some advice that you would give to a younger version of yourself, or like anybody else who's going through something similar to what you went through? And then if you don't mind, like both something football related and something outside of football.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to football, just continue to just focus on yourself. I mean, ignore the out. I mean, I have notes in my phone, and I always kind of tell myself like, and I every year I change my background to my phone, and this year it says just enjoy the process. So whenever I open my phone, it just says enjoy the process, and then I have notes that in my phone that say ignore the noise, ignore the self-doubt, and ignore the self-pity. So every day, fans are gonna say what they want, friends, coaches, whatever. As long as you're getting better each and every day, it's all that matters. And then and don't try and compare yourself to other people. And that goes with football and in life. I know nowadays everybody looks on Instagram and they see, people doing certain things, and people have all this money or they're whatever. I mean, for one, it could be a facade, it could be fake, and two, stay in your lane. I mean, don't worry about the people out, that have to prove that they got something. Do whatever you have to do to make yourself happy. So those are two things that I would say when it comes to like, on and off the field or the court or wherever you play.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, that's real.
Like, yeah, I feel.
Especially that one about like staying in your lane, because social media nowadays, like you said, you never know who's putting up a front. Like you see what people want you to see on social media, right?
Exactly.
So, exactly what it is.
For me, I like the opposite. I want people to see the process. I want people to see the grind. I don't want people to see the product or the finished product. So, I mean, and just don't care what other people think. I know for athletes, like even myself, like sometimes like I get really hard on myself, but I just gotta remember, like, just take it day by day. And as long as you're getting better each and every day as a person, as a for anybody, as a husband, a boyfriend, a friend, a brother, like just as long as you're getting better each and every day, that's all that matters, man. I mean, stay in your lane and focus on yourself, and try to put out good energy.
No doubt, that's real. Appreciate the advice for real, because that's what it is right there.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Especially in the social media world now, with the kids growing up now, it's a different ball.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a different ball.
Crazy.
All right, well, before you go, just a quick question: best DB you went against?
And with that, why do you say that they're the best DB you go against? Also,
like ever.
Doesn't matter the level, all time.
I mean, there's a bunch. There's I'd say there's about three. I mean, I obviously had a chance to go against Jalen Ramsey. He's one of the best in the league. in practice, of course. And then, you know, there's a lot of guys that even played that I even play with now that are really good. I mean, I played against him in college. We were roommates our rookie year with the Colts, and now he plays for Hamilton, and I go against him. I've been going against him for a while now.
Yep.
I'd say he's probably one of the hardest. His name is Frankie Williams. I'd say he's probably one of the hardest guys to go against for me now, just because it's like we kind of know each other's games, so we're kind of just.
He knows you.
Yeah, like we know each other, so I know what he doesn't like, what he likes, and he knows the same thing for me. So now, you know, when we play Hamilton, it's like I don't know what's, you know what I mean? We don't know what one of us is gonna do. So I mean, I would say that's probably one guy that stands out to me. And there's so many other guys in the CFL and the NFL that I've came across, and especially now, I mean, people that's fresh in my mind. Saskatchewan has like Jalen, his name is Nick Marshall. Delvin Breaux that used to play for Hamilton. He went to LSU, played with the Saints for a long time. He's a great corner that like the CFL would miss. We have there's so many guys, so many. I'd be dumb if I didn't say Jalen Ramsey was number one, because obviously he is the number one corner.
Is he really like that? Like, is he the same person in practice too? Like, is he always really about that action?
He's like that. He is. I wouldn't say like if you get him going, then he'll be that guy. But yeah, he's definitely a great athlete. He cool dude. I mean, from the outside looking in, I know a lot of guys probably think that he's not, but he's pretty cool dude. A lot of the guys are. I mean, you don't really know from the outside looking in how these people are, but there's so many good athletes, and they're down to earth guys too, man. So
no, for sure. So a lot of people, they just see between the lines, and that they think that's who you are. And especially like in this football world, it's, at least I felt like it's almost like a fraternity. Like even when you have your battles when you're on the field, but when you're off the field, you meet these guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, I could rock with you. Like I could go out with you. Like you're my people type of thing.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's dope. Man, we honestly say thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. No problem.
It was an honor for real. Like I said, you opened a lot of doors for both of us. And obviously plenty of kids after. So continue doing your thing.
I appreciate that, man.
Everything you did it's hey man, we just want to give you your flowers while you can still smell them.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you guys having me. You know, it was good. A lot of good questions for sure. So I mean, it'll be good for people to see, you know.
Yep. We'll definitely like have it out to you. If you have anything like you want taken out or anything you want added or whatnot before we put it out into the world. But definitely appreciate it. Like it's been great. Definitely a great convo. And hey, we know you got who is it? Coming up on Monday. You guys got Calgary. I think. Yeah. So hey, that's a big game coming up, and all the best to you for that game and throughout the rest of the season, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. You guys
get back playing quick with this whole COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, we will. We definitely will. We have to turn it up for the rest of the season now. So we'll see how that goes, man.
I bet.
All right, man. Well, I know.
All right.
Just getting to the evening for you, but blessings, and hey, enjoy the rest of the evening, man.
I appreciate that, Mia. You guys take care.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right.
In the studio late night, that hoe did me wrong, I'ma flex on purpose. In the studio late night, fast cars and bad hoes, I deserve it. Yeah. In the studio late night, I'm gon' do what I want, you gon' do what I say. In the studio late night, in the studio.